Salutations everyone, this is Razor bringing you guys another Overwatch 2 video here today talking about tanks. Let me ask a question, you can answer it in the comments right now. Are you having fun playing tank in Overwatch 2 Season 3? Because to be honest with you everybody, I am not. I don't think I'll be queuing up for tank anymore this season. It's just not fun. It's not fun. And you know, this has happened before in Overwatch 1. And Overwatch 2's tank meta hasn't always been perfect, you know. Roadhog was super broken for a long ass time, and Zarya was super duper strong when things started off, and they nerfed d.va for absolutely no reason, even though she didn't have a high win rate and didn't have a high pick rate. They still nerfed her for whatever reason. That's because I guess people with 2 hours lifetime in this game somehow have some pull in the community. I honestly don't know the answer to that. We got nerfs to Orisa. Buffs to Doomfist, nerfs to Winston and Roadhog, a small nerf to Wrecking Ball, which isn't going to make a difference because the buffs that they gave him were really good, and he's one of the better tanks right now. Zarya got her bubbles nerfed, and Reinhardt is just thriving in the current tank economy that we have right now. The 3 best tanks in the game currently are Ramattra, Reinhardt, and Wrecking Ball. Only until you Grandmasters do Sigmas start doing very well. Do they get a really high win percentage. And while I've had good games on multiple tanks on multiple maps of this game, and I have, you know, I still have plenty of tank content to show you guys from this season, I'm not consistently having fun because of what is asked of the tank role and how things are right now. It's not one specific thing. It's not like the one character is taking over the game or one tank is just so good that you have to play them or you're throwing. That is not the case. There's not one super duper strong meta that is just really, really hard to fight against. That isn't the issue. It's not one singular thing. It's a bunch of things culminating in just tanks not being fun. Now, what do I mean about tanks not being fun? In Overwatch 1, I had a positive win rate with every character on the entire roster except for 3. One was, I think, Sombra. Maybe it was Genji. It was a DPS character I didn't play much, right? Don't really care about that. The other 2, Mercy and Reinhardt. Characters that I have a lot of time in because they were... you needed to play them quite a lot in a lot of circumstances. For 8 months straight, you had to play Mercy or you were hardcore throwing. So for those times, I picked her because I wanted to win. And sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. And I'm not very good at Mercy. She's the one support I'm not super comfortable playing. Mercy players are always undervalued. People think that, oh, you're just a heal bot, it doesn't take skill. Playing Mercy does take skill. I don't have it. Other people do. Right? And she'll always be undervalued. No matter how strong her kit is, people will always underestimate her because it's hard to notice because she's just a sneaky little I heal all the time character, right? And then Reinhardt. Why did I do so poorly at Reinhardt? Well, part of it is not great at Reinhardt, right? That should be obvious. I wasn't great at Mercy, so didn't do well as Mercy. Not great at Reinhardt, but you had to play Reinhardt a lot. I filled in almost every single comp game I ever played outside of doing placements for damage when that finally became a thing, role queue. And that means I always played healer and tank, and when I played tank, I was almost always main tank. If I was off tank, I tried to play d.va as much as possible. I love playing d.va. I'm playing her here. She's not a good character. They nerfed it for no reason, but is she still playable and you can still win with her at any level? I'll give you that. I'm playing her right now. I wouldn't be playing her if I didn't think it was the right thing to do. They had some flying characters. They had a Pharah. They have an Echo. I felt like, all right, I should switch. We were rocking their Doomfist. Their Doomfist switches to Ryan. So now my pick of d.va doesn't seem so good. So I'm going to have to make that switch fairly quick as well because tanks they're the responsibility role. There's only one of you and you have the highest potential to throw, but not necessarily the highest potential to carry. Tank is the hardest role to rank up in this game, I think easily. I played a ton of support, and I can tell you, the hardest is tank. It's just the hardest because you have to rely on your teammates so much in this game. More and more so this season than any of the others. Every single tank, for the most part, consistently. Some tanks are going to be really good on some maps and garbage on others, so I'm not going to pick them all the time. there are so many circumstances where you're tanking this game and you are like Reinhardt in Overwatch 1 or Overwatch 2, because this kit didn't really change that much, and that you have to rely on your teammates to make some plays. And that's going to be really difficult to win consistently when you have to rely on your teammates in a random matchmaking game where people aren't communicating. They're stuck in their own thing. I want to play this character and only this character, and oh, they have a soldier on the high ground. Yeah, I'm going to ignore it. Their Genji is wiping out our backline, or their Doomfist is wiping out our backline. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to go shoot at their Moira because she thinks she can out DPS me. I don't think so. Or, oh man, they have a tank with a shield. I'm going to shoot at that instead of the thing that's, the actual big issue. Because as a tank, everything is your problem. As a tank, you have the most responsibility because you're the big HP pool. You're going to be the thing on the point. You're going to be the thing that should be getting a lot of the heals. You have some of the biggest impact ultimates in the game. A lot of responsibility. So if there's a character on Dorado first point A, they're defending, they're on the high ground, and they're annihilating you with Ashe Soldier, you got to switch to something that can attack them. You got to switch to Winston, get him off the high ground, gain some ground, get your ult, push them all out, hopefully get that first checkpoint, right? That's your responsibility. You can't just stay as Orisa the whole time. You can't just stay as Ramatra and try to make it work. I've played 4 different tanks in this game, and that's what I've been constantly doing this season, more so than other seasons, is that I'm always having to switch my tank because my responsibilities keep changing. Either the geometry of the part of the map that we're in, or what the enemy team is doing. They had Doomfist, and we were annihilating him, so they switched. And so now we have to change up how we're attacking because we're no longer attacking that Doomfist, right? So I'm switching to Orisa, who after the nerf, she can't really fight Reinhardt anymore. She doesn't have the damage to poke out Reinhardt, and she cannot confirm kills off of Javelin pins anymore. She's just kind of weak right now. She doesn't have a good win percentage at a lot of levels in this game. And I don't think it was that crazy. People, I guess, were just kind of tired of how difficult she was to kill. But you take a look at Wrecking Ball, right? Wrecking Ball is really good right now, but I think he's a bit overrated. People are just looking at interactions and numbers and feeling that like that's the whole story. They're seeing like pick rates and win rates and things like that. But Wrecking Ball, I've been the good Wrecking Ball on my team. I've been against a good Wrecking Ball, and I've had a good Wrecking Ball on my team. So what happens? I've had a Wrecking Ball on my team. They're doing perfectly fine. They're not throwing. They know how to play. They know how to get in. They know how to get out. They're getting a kill here, 2 kills here. They're like 22-1, 22-2. And we're barely winning. Or we're barely losing. And it's like, why? The Wrecking Ball is doing just fine. How are we barely holding on? Or how have we not capped this point yet? Or how are we just barely losing? How do they keep barely winning every checkpoint in overtime, right? Because Wrecking Ball can't always be in the fight. He has to roll out, get heals from a health pack or their healers, and not all of their dives are going to bear fruit. Not every single one's going to get 1 kill. Not every single one's going to get 2 kills. The mines are good even after the nerf. It's perfectly fine. But he's not going to be able to be in the fight all the time. So what happens? You got to rely on those teammates to make some plays, man. And that can be quite difficult when people are not answering to Junkrat spam around the corner. The Torb turret. Nobody's shooting at the Torb turret. Symmetra, stupid strong right now. No one's dealing with the Symmetra turrets, and she gets her ultimate super duper fast, and that could snowball, right? Very, very quickly. If you're not the right tank in the right situation, things can snowball really bad, even if it's not your fault. You could be Orisa and playing perfectly against a Doomfist. You could Javelin pin every single time he power blocks, but it doesn't matter. He has 2 pockets, and you don't. So you can't kill him. So you're going to have to make some other kind of play, because you can be playing against the Doomfist perfectly, who's a good tank right now, not one of the best ones, but he's fairly good. He's fairly good. All tanks are playable, so you're always going to have some circumstances like, oh man, that D.va went 34-6. That was pretty good, right? But there are a lot of circumstances where that consistency is just not going to be there, where you can be playing Wrecking Ball perfectly fine, be like, man, I'm 21-2, I'm doing great. But you still have to switch because you're not answering for what is needed. Their Torbjorn is absolutely wrecking you. Or, I don't know, there's a character in this game called Bastion, I've heard. I'm going to put a graphic on the screen right now of all the tanks that are good against Bastion. Do you see it? Do you see the graphic on the screen right now? Oh, you don't see it? That's because no tanks are good against Bastion in this game. His turret form lasts for 6 seconds. You know what also lasts 6 seconds? A full defense matrix. You better have all of it ready for the right time. And even if you do, you just blew your entire defense matrix on a singular cooldown. Now they have a grenade, they have primary fire, and 4 other people on their team that can just blast you willy-nilly. Maybe you fly away and get away, but guess what? Your teammates probably aren't. They're going to get blasted by the Bastion or one of the other characters because you used your cooldown on this crazy-ass fucking character. Doomfist, power block. Not going to last against Bastion for those 6 seconds. Not even close. Not even 3 seconds. You are dead. Junker Queen, she has no defenses. Dead. Orisa, Javelin Spin, and Fortify, you are close to death. Even, I mean, if he got like all headshots afterwards, you might be dead. Or if, and this is just against the Bastion. This is not even counting his teammates, right? So you have no more cooldowns. You're just like d.va. You have no more cooldowns, and you have to deal with everything else. You have no Javelin Spin. You have no Fortify. You need to play cover in Overwatch 2 a lot more. You have a singular tank. You have to protect people a lot more now. I know this. I've been playing against Bastion for years and years and years. I know how to play against characters. I'm not an idiot. I know what to do in this game. But sometimes I have to rely on my teammates, and that sucks. Ramattra, he's got, you know, a really, really big shield, and power block keeps him in the game longer than all the other tanks in the game, right? He's got a super broken ultimate. It's maybe the best ultimate in the game, and he gets it literally every single fucking fight. That's a problem. That's a problem. He can walk at any squishy in the game, punch dead. You're just dead. You're just dead. It's way too strong. When's the last time you saw a Ramattra pop an ult and he didn't get at least a quad? Against a Bastion, that's when. That was the last time it happened, because the Bastion is a brr. You gotta take cover. You can't fight it. You can't run at it with your little tendril nanobots spinning out while punching it. It's not enough. And that's not even counting when he's pocketed. Maybe you kill him, but you're probably dead too. Reinhardt, really good shield. Brr, that's gone. Reinhardt without a shield, useless. Roadhog, maybe you hook the Bastion, but you get the shot in, and he's probably not dead without help. Or maybe you do get help, and he's just getting pocketed. He's not dead. You have to pop that breather because he just already did a lot of damage while you were hooking, and then for a second or two after you were hooking. Sigma has 2 nullifications. He's got his shield, and then he has the kinetic grasp. But then once again, you just blew both ultimates, and you have like 100-something health left, and then brr, you're dead. Winston, his bubble got nerfed, and he cannot kill anything that's pocketed by Mercy. It's just not possible. Even if it's nano boosted, you can't kill something that's pocketed by Mercy. Not possible. Bashing comes along, brr, dead. Wrecking Ball, you can get a lot of adaptive shields. Maybe you can get a mines, but you try to stall that point. You try to fight their tank. Bastion's right there. Brr, dead. Great answer to Wrecking Ball, because he's great answer to everything. Zarya could have both bubbles ready. Brr, gone, brr, dead. In 6 seconds, you're just dead. You're just dead, and that's just with the Bastion. But if you had heals, if you had somebody shooting with you, then you can take care of the Bastion. But by yourself, you can't, and then you just see in the chat, ugh, tank diff. What are you talking about, tank diff? They have a Bastion that you guys are ignoring, or they have a Far in the Sky, a Pharmacy at that, wrecking havoc, and their tank is going negative, and I'm going positive, and you're saying tank diff? Because the responsibility is on you as the tank. It truly is. You might not feel like it's fair, but that's always been the case. Most of the responsibility has always been with the tank, will always be with the tank. You're the most important piece on the board. And when it's this difficult to have agency over how the game is played, it does not feel fun. Sometimes it can be. I've had insane games with Ramattra. I've had really good games with Wrecking Ball. Can't say I've had a great one with Reinhardt yet. But Doomfist can be fun. But d.va's not really playable right now consistently at all. Doomfist not good on a lot of maps. Junker Queen, just not good. Orisa, just not good. Roadhog, not a tank. I don't even want to talk about him. Sigma, he can stall for a little bit, but he's going to need some help, and he's not going to be good at killing a lot of different kinds of targets. Winston, he's just never going to be good below Grandmasters, because that's how it was in Overwatch 1. Man, I love having a great time on Winston. I love being with a really good Winston on my team. That's a lot of fun. It's just not something that can be consistent. Wrecking Ball, he can survive and play really well, but There's a lot of things he can't answer. He can't answer a pocketed flyer, or even just a flyer. He can maybe poke him out for a little bit to force him to heal. He has no answer to Junkrat spam, blasting you around the corner. A Bastion, deading everybody. And Zarya, even with her buffs, I mean, she's good against d.va, but who isn't? Tanks are just in a kind of a weird spot right now, and they're just not fun. Let me know what you think below.